Sorry to interrupt.
Are you okay? I need to get out of a toxic relationship.
Why don't you start by telling us what brought you here?
My boss, he's different.
You can't get him out of your head.
No.
I need your assistance.
I'm coming, Master!
Oh, you feel like he could destroy you with the snap of his fingers.
Wouldn't even need to snap.
Okay.
Uh-huh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, what?
Renfield, blaming innocent victims. I want a handful of nuns, a busload of cheerleaders.
And I just want a normal life again. But this modern world is a dangerous place.
Thank you. You saved my life. Did I watch you cut a guy with a decorative serving platter?
It's all in the wrist. Let me explain. My boss gave me this power. In return, I tend to his needs, including care, feeding.
You bring in people to eat? You're like the guy that gets the villain's Postmates.
But if you were to stop focusing on his needs... Hi, are you here for the meeting? Well, come on.
No! Some call me the Dark One, others the Lord of Death. To most, I am Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
Now, let's eat.
Oh, yes. Hello, and welcome to tonight's very delicious, very enduring, very wonderful podcast. Quinny! And servant Quinny, go fetch me some tasty morsel to eat. Something fun. There's one. There's a tasty morsel. Fetch that person,
One I
and
prepared
they
for
will
you
eat
earlier,
one
my
there.
lord.
Finally,
Here,
look.
she's
A
young and beautiful.
willing-
Please, my lord, take her blood, even though she just walked into the street.
A willing sacrifice. Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful.
She's better than an entire busload of cheerleaders.
Ooh,
Is
tasty.
it Igor or Renfield?
I don't fucking know. Master, please make sure you eat all of her.
Oh my god, what a stressful fucking last 10 minutes I've had.
No, you're doing.
Sorry, I wish you could see the bullshit that has been happening while we've been doing.
Totally.
I had a pre-order that was like, hey, we need your money. So I'm like, cool, let me just make sure I got funds. And then can't log in on my banking app. Why? Try to log in online. Oh, you need to update your password. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. It's got to be minimum 8 characters. Has to have a number. Has to have uppercase. Has to have lowercase. Has to have a special character. And like, then I typed it in and it's like, the second one doesn't match. I'm like, oh my God, what did I type? So I'm trying to do it again. And then we're ready to go. And the trailer's rolling. And my phone starts ringing. And it's my home. My mother calling me saying, we're trying to get into the Amazon Prime, but it says we need a verification from your email. I'm like, I'm doing a fucking podcast right now.
Jill,
I don't have an email. Wait.
Have you thought maybe about coming to our support group? So tonight we're having a support group
Yes.
for people who are a
Except
little bit overwhelmed.
I'm not in the codependent relationship.
Are you
It's
sure?
the people that are calling me that are.
Excellent.
I do love that apparently
excellent.
the login for your
imitates
banking
life.
has a stronger circle of protection than any of this film. And in fact, you probably need to just be invited in.
Yes. This is what it is. What are we?
my
Well,
God.
obviously, I haven't actually said it tonight, but tonight we are doing Renfield, or we're reviewing Renfield, thanks to
Yeah.
Universal. Pictures.
Or as I had it, Renfield.
Renfield.
It's a French translation.
Yes. Renard. It's about a fox.
Yes.
It's very nice.
And I'm just
Anyway.
going to say,
And-
it's a
You
vampire
think
movie.
my parents have access to 5 other streaming services. You could think that the Amazon could wait.
No, No, we must be watching Amazon Prime now, Jill. Now.
Must,
No, well,
must now.
no, different show. Like maybe it will go to Amazon Prime. We don't know. Distribution is a fun thing. But anyway,
Yeah. Who
Yes,
knows where
yes.
Renfield's going to come up?
Other streaming services are available, and you, of course, can see things like C on Apple. Oh, fuck's sake.
well, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know where this one would go. Although I wouldn't be surprised.
Jill Adsky is asking a really important question.
Mm.
Did you get your
Oh,
pre-order?
I did get my pre-order. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
All is forgiven.
That's
You're-
all that matters.
You're allowed to
That's-
come back.
Yes.
Excellent.
So
Anyway, my last 10 minutes or 15 minutes now have been far more exciting than Renfield.
Wow. Shots fired straight out of the
Just
gate.
coming. Yeah, guns blazing.
Well, it must have been so boring that Peter decided to not even show up tonight. That's her review. Didn't even bother to show up. But
Yes.
that's
Look, I didn't hate it. It was fine.
yeah.
I,
look,
I loved our internal chat while I think it was mostly Sunday night where everybody started going, oh shit, I better watch the film.
We're in the cinema.
Oh yes. Better go and watch the
Yes,
film.
We
at a
better
cinema.
quickly pop out and watch the movie. It's still
and-
playing in cinemas.
Yes, absolutely. And text in the middle of it. And,
Yeah.
Hey Peter, just we're letting you know, the first it's quite gory.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, good. I've already started watching it, but yeah, thanks for
Yes.
the warning."
it is quite gory,
yeah.
but
It
it's
is
gory.
at a simultaneous screening in another
Yeah.
city.
Totally.
It's gory in a fun way because I don't know.
Yes.
Do you want to call this a horror comedy or horromedy?
Horromedy.
Is it a horror?
Pouring one out for Horomedy. Oh, hang
Yeah.
on, no.
Don't, Quinny,
I think there's an ointment for that.
not even as a joke. Don't pour a liquid over computer equipment. Not even as a joke. That's just terrifying to everyone. watching
but
it.
Harambe. I mean, I love Harambe.
Oh, Harambe. Wow. Thrown back to 2012.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Just don't. We don't.
Yeah.
We've got other things to worry about now.
Oh, wait. Do you remember Coney?
Oh, Coney 2016.
Coney
or whatever.
2012, wasn't it?
I don't know. I can't
I think it
remember.
was the same year. Coney and Harambe. I don't know, man.
That's
Something.
like, okay, boomer, motherfucker.
Wow. Have you know we're
Jesus.
elder millennials, thank you.
yeah.
Oh, you mean
we've been
the
called
ancients.
everything.
Yes, I'm definitely an ancient.
Yeah, an ancient millennial. I'm a legendary class millennial.
Yeah. The old ones who remember rotary phones.
Oh my god, yeah. I saw a TikTok with a girl describing a landline thinking she'd invented the wheel.
Well, you know.
Bless them.
Anyway, Renfield.
Renfield. I do also just want to shout out to Tally, who's joining us in the chat, who says hello and couldn't be here last week. And I thought, damn it,
Aw,
Tally should have been here last week. Tari, sorry, should have been here last week because it was the musical
the
episode. And
musicals.
if you haven't checked it out, please make sure you go and do it because it's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch Streets of Fire? Like that was my recommendation that came out from last week. No,
Didn't
haven't gone
get
into a look
time,
yet.
didn't
No,
get
no,
time,
that's fine.
sorry.
That's
Not
fine.
yet.
It's gonna go.
Not yet.
You'll all get there. It's fine. Look, Renfield, one of the movies
Yes.
that came out of the middle of nowhere, and everyone went, "Sorry, where did this come from? And why has it got Nicolas Cage? Wait, what? It's got Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage as a vampire, and not playing the same one that he did in
Vampire's Kiss.
Vampire's Kiss." And also Nicholas Hoult, who everyone was like, "Hang on, isn't he filming The Great somewhere or like a bunch of other stuff?" Because he's been in fucking everything
Yeah.
in the last
Yeah.
15
And
years.
still is so astonishingly young looking.
Yeah.
Money will
Yeah.
do that to you, Jill.
That's because he bathes in the blood of virgins regularly.
Yes,
I think
virgin
it's something
dollar
to do
bills.
with the hair. Once he gets like that tousled hair in the front, it just takes 10 years off him.
Well, I'm fucked.
Don't worry, Quinny, I'll get you a unit for Christmas.
I heard that wrong. I thought you said you're going to get me a eunuch for Christmas. And I was like, thanks.
Two,
Yes.
if you like.
Some sort of attendant, maybe like what they do, a servant of some sort.
Yeah.
Just Angela nailed it. Yeah, definitely warm bodies too.
I did. That was my thought about this is that it felt like a sort of weird sequel to Warm Bodies, which I mean, I actually quite liked Warm Bodies. I thought it was a cute little kind of rom-com thing.
But that was back at a time when I could believe Nicholas Hoult was like a teenager, early 20s kind of person, because he was. And now it's getting a little, pushing a bit beyond the veil now. It's starting to give me a lot of 90210 vibes of seeing Nicholas Hoult going like, oh, I'm just a young man. I'm like, really? Because I mean, there's going to be a time.
Doesn't look that bad.
No, he doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, everyone was I'm jealous of it. He's no, Ant-Man. Fucking, what's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He's no Paul Rudd, but not what everyone can be.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in Skins. The Adsky in the chat says that he saw him in Skins, and I'd completely forgot or didn't realize he was in that.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's 33.
Yeah.
He's
Still
a
fucking
baby.
young.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. He can go to an American high school for another 5, 6
No,
seasons.
he must have started acting quite young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I mean, I like the way that we're sort of very much focusing on Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. There are other people in this film. There is Aquafina, or
I mean,
Awkwafina.
sure.
She's definitely
She's
there.
definitely in.
Everyone who was in this film who wasn't working on the
Oh,
stunt
actually,
crew,
no. One of my favorites was in this movie. I love Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz.
He was given it what for? He
For
was
his-
definitely giving it a lot.
for his limited screen time, and of course, Shora Ashdaglu, she's back, just throwing her voice around.
Yeah, I love that she could turn up in anything, and everyone was just like, "Oh, it's her. I don't give a fuck. She just talk to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
Do that cool, sexy thing that you do with your voice." And you're like, "Oh God."
yeah, but it never dips into that part where you're like, wait, are you a 65-year-old lunch lady who smoked 30 packs every day for the last 50 years? You know?
Yeah, it's one bad accent away from that.
Yeah, one bad accent.
Because while it's all still like cool and we don't know where the accent's actually from, and it sounds like generic weird European or something, we're all like on board. The moment that it's like, "Oh, darling, what do you want? Sloppy Joes? What do you want?"
It's like Udo Kier. Remember Udo Kier, who was just like, everyone who turned up was like, oh, it's that guy. Like Shora, I feel like, turns up and I was like, oh, it's Shora. She's back again. Yay.
Yeah.
She's reading lines in that voice of hers. Excellent.
She is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
So, should we find out what the film is about?
We could. Yeah, sure. Why not, Connie? Let me find some music.
Okay. Accent. Where are we at with this one?
Transylvanian, but been living in America for too long.
So what Nick Cage was trying to do.
Well, I don't know. Look, let's just put the fucking brakes on right here. I don't know what the fuck Nick Cage was trying to do with that accent.
I want to suck your blood.
But there was none of the sucking the blood. It just turned into, oh, woo, 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 woo. What the fuck are you doing, Nick?
I want to fountain your blood.
Okay.
Go for it.
In this modern monster tale of Dracula's loyal servant, Nicholas Hoult stars as Renfielder. The
Renfielder?
tortured- I don't know. I'm trying to put a fucking rolling R on there for the American.
This isn't a baseball game. Queen. And on the Renfielder, we have Nicholas Hoult.
The tortured aide to history's most narcissistic boss, Dracula. Renfield is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding. My every bidding. No matter how debased and terrible. But now, after centuries of servitude, Renfield is ready to see if there is a life outside the shadow of the vampire, the Prince of Darkness. If only he can figure out how to end his codependency. I don't know what the fuck that was. I like that Jill halfway through is like, I'm gonna look at my phone. This is some
Sorry, I'm just trying to
bullshit.
see if I've got activation email yet.
I was like, you know what? I understand. It's not a good accent.
I mean, look,
I
I always
apologize.
appreciate the effort that you go into those, Quinny. I mean, like, I want everyone who's listening to this or watching this right now to understand the effort that Quinny goes into, the hours and hours of research and practice that he puts in to these synopses, is mind-boggling. You would be surprised about how long he spends on this every week. But yes, thank you for that beautiful synopsis. I didn't actually hear anything about what you were saying. I was just listening to the accent fluctuate wildly. Wild fluctuations.
I would like to give a little bit of background on this movie
Please do.
Sure.
because this is its final form, basically.
Is it over 9,000?
Back in 2017, when Tom Cruise tried to reboot The Mummy, they attempted a Universal Monsters Cinemaverse.
The Dark Universe.
The Vanity Fair did a whole photo shoot, remember? They were on the cover of all that, and it's like, this is going to be a big dark universe. And everyone was like, wow, really?
Renfield was supposed to be part of that universe. And
really?
It was a slightly different version than what this film is.
Yeah.
But it was definitely based on like Bela Lugosi's old Dracula, and the character from that film, his assistant, is Renfield. So this is what this movie was going to be, but it was supposed to be a darker one. But of course, when Alex Kurtzman kicked the shit out of like, no, I don't want to do this universe anymore, and stormed out, and everything fell apart, this little treasure got a rewrite thanks to, I'm not sure if Robert Kirkman was originally written the screenplay or if he revamped this to make it
I think he's been acknowledged as a
gory comedy.
I think he was acknowledged as he pitched an idea about it. So I'm not sure that he actually did anything, but they just needed to say, yeah, he said something one day in a meeting that was important.
Yeah.
So if we don't acknowledge him, he'll probably sue us for money.
Yeah, so this got a rework into the comedy that it is now.
Which is interesting because, like, I remember that Mummy. I don't think I've ever actually watched that Mummy.
No, I haven't.
But I have watched the shit version of Dracula that had Luke Evans in it, which was the one that was meant to be part of this universe.
Wait, was that the
Dracula
Abe Lincoln
Untold?
Vampire Hunter
Yeah.
one?
No. Not,
Wait, which
not,
one?
Not Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Dracula Untold.
So yeah, that was going to be the Dracula part of this dark universe, and it also, pun intended, sucked. And so after the Mummy and Dracula both fucking bombed spectacularly, they just went, yeah, it's probably best if we just turn it all around and say, nah.
But they had it all in the pipeline because they still had to committed to making movies under some of those titles, which is why we got Lee Whannell's and The Invisible Man. But it wasn't connected to that universe. But then after that was successful, they kind of like, well, maybe. And people are still like, no. No.
Because at one point in time, I think the intent was that they were going to do this whole thing, and one of the stories was probably going to bring back in the whole Van Helsing character. But that Van Helsing movie back that had Richard Roxburgh and Hugh Jackman, was also intended to be another kind of beginning of a universe that also failed to fucking take flight entirely. So I love that there's all of these great Hammer horror films like the Universal Monsters that are there, and they're capable of telling really good stories about them, but they just keep trying to turn them into a fucking shared universe and stop. Stop doing it.
No, because what they need is a whole multi-level integrated marketing machine that forces people, especially distributors, into having to commit to multiple movies across.
It's the MM.
Yeah.
Multi-level marketing movie.
It is. It is. It's a pyramid scheme for film.
That was the Mummy. That was the pyramid.
Fine. Fuck. Okay, I'll pay that one. That was pretty good. Jesus. But I mean, if distribution companies or production companies can't say, look, you're going to buy this film and the next 10 films that we're releasing over the course of 5 years, how can they say, well, there's my 5 years I've done. I'm taking them my $20 million bonus and leaving the industry. Bye.
Mm.
But I'm not jaded or cynical at all.
No,
Unlike Renfield,
definitely
which
not.
is jaded and cynical.
It's a weird fucking film. Like
It is.
It's all right.
It's got a. It's. Do you know what? It's kind of like, the fire hazard signs that Australians get, where you're driving past a town somewhere and it just says, "What's the danger indicator today?"
Yeah.
It's just
And
like,
the lowest one is moderate.
yeah, and the lowest one is moderate and the one is extreme. I feel like this is just one that just fluctuates across that kind of line depending on what scene you're watching. Like some of it is is okay, and then other is like off the charts, and then it's back, and I'm like, where are you with this thing? You don't even know, and not even Nick Cage knows. I think the most consistent person in this is Nicholas Holt, and that's a bad thing.
But no, but the movie is about his character.
Yes, what I'm saying.
It
Your primary character that you're following along needs to be relatable and be able to grow and have a lesson that they learn, so you can follow along with it and feel connected to it.
Yeah.
And that's not really kind of what happens.
Oh.
But he's still the most connected because I feel like he knows where it's going to end up in the end. Whereas everyone else is playing this I feel like everyone walks onto the scene and they're like, right, what am I doing today? Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly Nicholas Holt is the one who's like, okay, well, I'm here for the long haul, so I'm just gonna do what is needed to be done in every scene. But yeah, if he's acting opposite Nicolas Cage, it's one film. If he's acting opposite Awkwafina, that's another fucking film. Like it sort of it feels like a whole bunch of things, and he's mostly playing it sort of straight than the same character all the way through. But even he, like Nick Holt, seems like it's a very strange performance.
Yeah, I feel like even though the scenes with Nicolas Cage where he's not with the Renfield character and he's doing his other Dracula stuff is another movie too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Really go. It's a wandering frequency. Occasionally Nick Cage dials into Bela Lugosi and really hits those beats for a Dracula, and other times you're like, "Where are you, Nick? What's going on, mate? I don't know where you are here, and you don't know where you are. We're just filming it. Like, keep rolling."
I think I would have, I would have preferred to have had more scenes with Dracula and Renfield together, so you could actually understand the toxic relationship instead of just hearing about it. So you don't really see any of it except for like a few moments where it's like, oh, you didn't bring me fresh enough food, and then like go again. And so then he's left alone. But if there was like more interaction, if you'd actually got the payoff on like why he wants to get out, might have felt a little bit more connected. But it's kind of like, here are these two characters that are having a relationship issue, and we're going to do like just film them completely apart doing their own things.
Yeah, I did think that there are a few times where like there are a couple of times where you see them together, and what they're doing is clearly trying to turn this into either a gaslighting or a manipulative or abusive relationship. Like that's writ pretty fucking large all over the script. But the times, I would have liked to have seen more of that where he, like, Dracula is trying to bring him along or like trying to win him over or anything, because or actually doing more actual gaslighting, things like that.
If we'd have seen Renfield giving into weakness more often than just off doing his own thing, it would have been more believable.
Yeah, it's also strange, like watching that too. In the relationship they're trying to do is like, oh, it's a toxic relationship. You've got to get out of it. There needs to be a backwards and forwards. Like, in this, I never felt like Dracula actually needed Renfield, or there was any reason for him to need Renfield at all, and that wasn't very much explained apart from like, oh, he's weak, but is he? But he's not really. But he doesn't really give a shit. Like, you needed a bit more of the toxic relationship together, because it is a relationship. In this, it was just sort of like, it's Dracula. You can't be in a healthy relationship with Dracula. But what you need to present is the fake image that it's healthy, so that you go, oh no, you need to get out of it. Like, that gives you a bit more payoff. But I mean, hey,
And
What-
maybe do more with the Dracula blood.
But
like,
at one point they stabbed a guy with an arm. Like speared. So I mean, look, here's the two things that I was like, am I waiting for too much of this? And then I'm like, oh wait, no, I really shouldn't. You turned into a gas and got into a guy and blew up in the first 5 minutes.
yeah.
Look, I gotta say thank you, Robert Kirkman, because the gore was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it was very silly gore. It's the
It
kind
was
of gore
comical. It was real. It was more pink than very red,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it wasn't offensive.
I wrote that into the ticker actually, which was like stunt coordinator really surprised that every bad idea that was put out during pre-production got greenlit. It's just like, wow, I didn't realize that they think serving tray decapitation was going to stay, but here we are.
I did like the thing. I cut a man's arms off with a decorative serving tray. I saw that.
I saw that. You know, how?
I do agree with Karina that the Awkwafina subplot was unnecessary, but I would go even further to say that the drug syndicate subplot was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's, like we've said, there are sort of 3 films happening.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting one is the story of Renfield and Dracula and their emotional abuse of his emotional abuse of Renfield, and somebody working their shit out and going, oh, I'm actually worth something to myself.
Yeah. But that was the story that was most underserved.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet we get a weird plot about, a drug cartel that's run by people who may or may not be evil. Well, they're definitely evil, but are they like...
And then trying to redeem the memory of this girl's dead cop father.
What the fuck was that for?
Look, there's a really poignant, wonderful kind of art house, like Oscar-worthy kind of film that's in this that is just bloated by the fact either quick turnaround, needed a better profit, wanted to be more stunts and action based, or ran out of script, no time for scripting. That would have been just a film with Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage, and they barely interact with other people, and it's all about how terrible and isolating it is to be in a toxic relationship that you could easily have pitched through. But I think in this one, they were like, no, bang for buck, things we need to see, explosions, blood, gore, stunt coordinator, and eventually everyone's like, sure, whatever, I don't care.
And it had to feel like a Hammer horror film, like that opening where they went back to Academy ratio and a black and white, and it's and
deep faking. I felt a little bit annoyed by all of that, considering your favorite subject, Quinny, AI. I felt a little bit annoyed by that. Like, it was fun and a nice little nod, but it was also a little bit like, wow, we're going to see all of this stuff being rewritten, aren't we? We're going to see all the old classic movies having people's faces re-edited into them to say this person's been alive for the last 300 years.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think a lot of people are uncertain about the character of Renfield anyway. Like, Renfield, Knock Renfield, or whatever, he's called in depending which version of the story, is not a particularly well-known or loved character. And most people sort of think of Igor more, if...
talk about sidekicks.
Yeah. So, like, it was a weird choice anyway.
Yeah, but you could have leaned into that because all of the posters were like the vampire look with Nick Cage and stuff. And then you're like, oh, it's this quirky little film about Dracula's sidekick and what it's like to be his servant, kind of that thing. But they didn't go hard on that in the movie. And I'm like, you got 90 minutes, guys. You could have made it a nice tight film. And you put in all this other bullshit.
And also, why did we have to make Renfield a martial arts expert and why a foo fucking superhero? That was the thing that I was kind of like, why?
Well, whenever I think of Renfield, I think of supreme martial arts and superpowers.
Yeah, totally.
Basically. And had I not, like, I mean, I'm just I'm surprised that more kids aren't turning into this superpowered monstrosity after eating bugs. It makes me want to go out and eat some bugs. Think of the ones we'd have in Australia. They'd give you fucking sick powers.
Oh my god.
Although I
mouth
kind
cancer.
of really wanted them, like they would have had a better trick to have his power level change based on the kind of bug he ate.
That would have
Yes.
been fun.
Basically, like a fly is kind of just like, well, I feel
Yeah.
better, but then
Yeah.
you have to get some sort of weird fucking scorpion, or the rarer the insect, the more power you get. But of
Yeah.
course, that would have required some thought to go into the film and commitment to a certain line.
Hmm.
And as I said, this feels very much like a film that was an elevator pitch, and then someone else wrote it, and someone got people involved, and it got made because people love to work, and they need to, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I don't appreciate having it delayed in Australia.
No.
That wasn't fun.
Do you know who was working real fucking hard on this? The lighting guy. The grip, the gaffer. Holy shit. He just had every gel that he has ever had on every light that he could. He's like, fucking blue over here. Yeah, let's put some green back there. Actually, we're in for a really tight close-up, but let's get like the brightest fucking lights on either side of the face that we can. Oh, and also a big red light behind all the blood bags. Yeah,
This is what I'm
cool.
saying. There wasn't a lot of no on set in this one,
No.
which I really kind of liked. Like, I really kind of respected that. You're watching it and you're like, they're just going at it. Like,
This is a yes and kind of film.
yeah, it's a yes and production.
Yeah.
But what do you expect from someone who directed like Robot Chicken originally?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, well, animator, worked on Robot Chicken, started directing, now done a bunch of stuff. Directed the last one before this one, which we have also thing was The Tomorrow War. That other one full of great
Oh
script.
no, that other one we pulled to shreds.
Yeah.
But also directed the
Yeah.
Lego Batman movie. So no fouls here, no fouls. Like it was,
You win some, you lose some.
yeah. Lego Batman movie, fine, top darts, no worries.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
War, definitely a paycheck.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And he was also the story writer on Dungeons and Dragons.
Do you want to name and shame this fellow?
Chris McKay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, okay, so I can see the Robot Chicken kind of vibe in there. Like this real kind of frenetic, crazy, short sort of very short scenes, single idea gags. I can kind
Yeah.
of see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Like I don't have anything. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's been doing. It's just that I think the source material may not have a lot going for it, but also he knows how to make and animate stuff to get around a lot of things. So I feel like he's a confident director that's just kind of like, yeah, just shoot this bit and then we'll add this in post and do this animation and that'll work. Which is kind of handy for a director, really.
And I mean,
Knowing how the
the
sausage is made.
Tomorrow War is a piece of shit, but at the same time, it did have some fairly impressive action sequences.
Did it?
Yeah, but
They were, yeah,
It had
still a piece of shit.
some action. In this one,
Yeah.
I really loved all of the faceless stunt people that were like stunt people in this one actually shone. So I'd say, look,
yes.
you're gonna get
it was convenient to have a whole gang wearing masks.
you're
Very,
getting,
very handy.
you're getting some kind of like drop off with the quality of acting across a lot of the main cast, but a real solid work from all the stunties in this one.
Yeah.
Just it's kind of like the John Wick series stunt people. Like you don't know who they are, but you're just like, you've done a fucking hard day's work today, son, and I appreciate that.
And I'll give Nicholas Hoult a bit of credit for that as well. Like he is doing a fair bit of work there. Like because of the character's look, there's an awful lot of it that he couldn't just hand over to a stuntie. And I did hear an interview with him talking about this film where he said that there's quite a bit of this that he did and he's quite proud of, which is good. I mean, but good action, good stunt work don't make a good film.
Not necessarily, but we do appreciate. Like we're looking for the positives, Quinny, Mr. Negative Nelly.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You make it feel like this is not worth your time. That you need more. When I'm impaling someone with an arm, I need to understand the gravitas behind why that person was impaled and what caused the other actor to rip the arm off in the first place.
I need meaning. Acting.
And why is that other actor suddenly very, very, very good with shooting guns and being some sort of commando when they're literally a traffic officer?
Are we back on Aquafina again?
Maybe just a little bit. Like, it's just kind of like, I love Aquafina because she was just kind of standing there going, what do I do? It's like, shoot here, do this, do that. Okay, great. You know? Now you have
I don't get what she was doing here. Like, I know that the character was written to be there.
Yeah.
She was there to provide Renfield with an opportunity to look at what life could be like if he wasn't in a toxic relationship with Dracula and was in a toxic relationship with Aquafina.
She was there for plot.
Yeah. As Karina said, Nicolas Cage did get to channel his best Bela Lugosi.
Yes.
Sometimes.
And then
He was
also
his best.
Yes.
But not the best.
No. I love that Nicolas Cage in this channels both the best Bela Lugosi and the worst Bela Lugosi.
He is Schrodinger's Lugosi.
Somewhere, I think Nicolas Cage is still in full makeup.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With those teeth going.
It's just one of those things. No matter, like, he'll change in a scene
between
a great
I am
line.
not the biggest fan of Nicolas Cage.
Hello.
I find him extremely difficult of a human being to get on board with. But I feel like the movie that turned me around was what's it?
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Thank you. Yes. Because he's leaning into his bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I want to see. I know he's a crazy motherfucker and he's just doing that in a movie being himself. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to watch. This kind of felt like there might have been an extension of that. I thought, yeah, he's going to go in there and be ham, but I didn't get it.
No.
I think he could have gone more ham.
I agree. And I don't know, like I look back on things like Shadow of the Vampire, the God, what's his name? Creepy actor, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
yes.
Willem Dafoe, who in that is really going at it. Like he is eating fucking scenery left, right, and center, but it still feels like he's playing the one character all the way through. This one, there are, as you said, Dee, in the middle of scenes, something would change, and you'd be like,
"Which Nick Cage are you right now? Are you Nick Cage from Face Off?" Because I feel like that's where you are right now.
And that, I mean, I think you hire Nick Cage because you want that. You want that Nick Cage. But
didn't get that in this one.
No.
That's why I thought I would really like it. Yeah, needed more of him to get more of the ham, but we just didn't get enough.
Yeah, you needed more Holt and Nicolas Cage acting together to understand the relationship, apart from just hearing a lot of people talking about how toxic it is.
Yeah. I thought it was funny at one point towards the end where Ben Schwartz's character is like, you really hate me, don't you? And I love that Nicholas Holt's character and the writers at that point went, I don't even know who the fuck you are. I've said 2 words to you in this whole film.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
I don't even know why you're here. Why are any of us here? What are we trying to do? We're trying to end the film. Just let the film
Can we
end.
just get to the end? Yeah.
So, do we want to get close to rating this?
Sure. Yeah, let's get into very much. We've talked a lot about it. It's already.
I don't even know if we've got anything to talk about in spoilers.
No, not really. But we'll
not. But fuck it, we'll give it a go anyway.
Yeah, we'll give it a go anyway. I'll start over as I've done. I enjoyed the hell out of some bits of it, and then I was confused as fuck about the rest of it. But now I feel like I'm skewing my ratings, and I want to. You know what I kind of feel like? I feel like at the end of this either year or maybe this end of this financial year, I would like to stand back and say, you know what? I'm going to readjust all of my ratings. My previous ratings were from a different me.
Ah,
and have like a sweep and clear and an understanding about it, so that I just
new
come back to
Finny, new me.
yeah, new Finny, new me. Maybe I'll do different ratings, because I feel like, I'm going to give it a real solid 70,
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it's not
Okay.
it's not terrible. Like, it's definitely not a piece of shit, but there's also
No.
just bits in there. Like, am I going to revisit it? Probably not. You know, that's where I'm going to
Okay.
sit.
Okay. I am gonna give it a 69
Nice.
Nice.
because it was just a nice movie. It's only
Okay.
nice. I mean, I wanted more from it and I didn't get it, but I also didn't hate it because like I found the action enjoyable because I do like ridiculous gory stuff and I thought the action beats were fun. But yeah, it just was like a little bit otherwise.
I'm torn because
Mm.
nothing's
Tell me,
fine.
Natalie.
I'm
Nothing's
cold
fine.
and I am naked, lying naked on the floor. There, as you say, Dee, there are parts of it that are a fun, sort of actiony kind of thing, and there's, it's quite enjoyable here and there. But then there's other bits of it. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And like at one point, I was watching it relatively late at night, and I was like, I clearly must have half dropped off or sort of, because I went, oh shit, hang on, where are we? And so I then ran back through the film and realized that I hadn't actually missed anything at all.
How did you rewind it at the cinema?
I fuck you, Jill.
Got you in a lie.
Damn it. Yes.
You asked the kind cinema operator to go back.
Just roll back like 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know.
You're under my power.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, I all the projectionists are friends with me. Actually, there is a projectionist that I am friends with. So, but yeah, and yeah, so and then afterwards, I kind of went and I looked back over the. I'm just doubling down on this. I went back and sort of scrubbed the whole film and realized that I'd seen everything, but there were just large sections of it that I kind of blanked out because I was like, that
you
happened.
just immediately forgot. It was like goldfish.
It's like when you're driving and then you're thinking about something else and you're like, wait, how did I get home?
Yeah, but then you go back and you look at it and you went, oh no, I saw all of that. So it just wasn't important. So I don't know. Is it micro sleeps? I don't know. But, yeah. So for me, that's kind of what the film was. It was kind of like, yeah, it's fine. It just wasn't important.
Wow.
But
I'm
yeah.
sorry, everybody that worked on it. It just wasn't important.
That's pretty rough, Q. Like, I mean, I do want to caveat like my rating about this, and not saying for anyone else. It was better than The Mummy, and it was better than the Universal trying to reboot stuff. Like, it's okay. It just didn't really hit with what you were supposed to worry about. And thank God we didn't get Nicolas Cage as Dracula in the Universal horror pantheon.
See, the thing is, there were moments where I was watching him going, I would watch that. I would watch more of Nicolas Cage being a particular version of Dracula. Yeah. Like when he was really doing the Bela Lugosi thing, I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm on board with that. But then when he wasn't, he was.
It's like the movie was a comedy, but he wasn't in the comedy.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was trying to be too straight with it.
But yeah,
because if he'd gone like a bit ridiculous with it, then I think overall it would have worked better.
See, I feel like also they could have shot all of that. I was like, could you do a straight one? Could you do a horror one? Could you do a funny one and just do a weird one? And then when they were cutting up, they were, instead of picking a line, they just changed them around as they felt they needed to. And it was just like, oh, which one are you doing?
I felt like the moment where he enters the meeting, like the group meeting, was like, oh, this is like his dangerous moment where you can like be fun with it and like really play it up. But that kind of still felt a little bit flat for me.
Yeah, and if you're gonna go crazy and go ham with that, go fucking ham.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Especially like when he's like, listing off all of the names that he goes by and all that kind of stuff. It just didn't feel
tear people apart. Fucking
threatening
like,
enough.
I rewatched that scene because of my lovely friend, the projectionist. And it's shot so weirdly. He kicks Renfield off to the side, and then slow motion, he goes flying back for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then in that period of time, he kills all the other people.
Yeah.
But does it in a really kind of uninteresting way. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're the fucking king of, the Prince of Darkness. You are Vlad the Impaler, and you're just fighting somebody, doing a bit here, bit there. It was really fucking tame.
But we got
And I
that
went,
scene at the start, Quinny, where he killed people in interesting ways at the start.
yeah.
And also, the hero of this film is Renfield. His name's on the top, not
Yeah,
Dracula.
but give him something to fucking go up against. Anyway.
That was Ben Schwartz. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. So my rating is 60.
60.
Okay.
All right.
you know,
Okay. A quick,
Fun, but kind of whatever.
a quick clip.
Yeah.
We'll come back and wrap this up and provide you with all the spoilers that you need to know about Renfield. Yes. What?
It did have some funny moments. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that was that thing. I better put the spoiler logo out. Yeah, we're going to talk about spoilers now. I think it goes to prove the point that you guys have been making, which is that was a very annoying scene because they spent so much time setting up his support group. Then to watch them all be killed in a very dull manner was a bit like, oh, so that's all. Like, the punishment for these humans that almost removed like Dracula's servant from being of service anymore and corrupted him was to be killed in a very boring way and not really killed that interestingly at all. And then everyone around them, like random thugs, get more interesting things happen to them.
Yeah. And I would have loved to have seen the chick whose name I can't remember who keeps getting interrupted.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like, I think that would have been really fun if they'd done something with her and, interrupted her sharing one last time to have her head blown off or something like that. I mean, yes, then they couldn't have brought them back at the end of the film.
Yeah, but did they really need to bring them back at the end of the film? No. Also, what the fuck was going on with the police in this thing?
Oh, they were entirely corrupt.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, what the fuck? They had absolutely no reason to be entirely corrupt apart from just cash. But also, they're not going to send it in. Like, it's quite literally everyone in that police station is corrupt apart from Aquafina. Like, everyone is on it apart from this one person. That doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
And that's why that whole second storyline was just like.
But then it kind of also didn't make sense as well that they were working with the FBI that was like next door, and her sister worked there.
Oh,
and
man,
and they weren't corrupt.
Yeah, and that
And
whole
it's like,
fucking,
and they weren't busting the police. Like, I just don't get it.
the whole sister subplot, like the
Yeah,
Aquafina
yeah.
subplot was weird. The
Yeah.
the sub
Then you got the
subplot,
sister. Yeah.
who gives a single fuck about that?
Yeah.
know,
It's like,
and
oh,
then
the
she's
sister died. It's like, so what?
yeah, she was in this for 2 fucking seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so many.
They had a
subplots.
very, very good key thing, and I feel like it just suffered from a bunch of like, oh, well, we need a reason for this to happen. It's like, no, you don't. The reason of this film is Renfield's relationship with Dracula. That's the entire reason of this film.
Yes.
We don't need
Also,
enough.
I like in the other versions of the story where you see Renfield, he's kind of pathetic and like he's clearly fucking mad.
You mean other
has,
portrayals of Renfield?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Probably the one from the oh god, the real old Nosferatu type one. Like,
all right,
there's a beautiful figure that McFarlane Toys put out. Oh no, they weren't in McFarlane. There was Mezco.
Is that the one with the big eyebrows and the big hair out
It's
there?
called Silent Screamers, and it was all these figures from like the German expressionist versions of things. So like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Nosferatu, and they've got a version of Renfield there that is all eyebrows and stuff like that, and he's got bugs that he's eating, and he's he's been in an asylum for years and years and years. He's creepy and slightly pathetic, and that kind of feeling of like somebody who, I don't know, I just felt like Nicholas Hoult was too well adjusted.
Too nice.
And and for somebody who's meant to be in a really bad abusive relationship, I don't know, I felt like he just seemed a little too well adjusted. I don't know. Too normal.
Aren't all the people that they Dracula's blood to bring them back to life now going to be immortal?
No, if you pour it over people, apparently it's just to cure wounds.
Oh.
So, unless they
Even when
imbibe it.
dead?
Yeah, fuck, Jill, come on. How is that your problem with it? God.
Well, I was just thinking, oh no, Aquafina's sister is never going to age.
Oh no,
they're gonna go their whole lives together, and her sister's never.
Oh no,
age.
is that on Vampire? I mean, in this one, the whole world logic is completely broken by the time that he goes and fights a bunch of other people who all have the powers of the,
Oh yeah.
familiars, and then he's able to dispatch all of those people. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah, I do think that section where they come back and it's like, okay, now everybody's got familiar powers.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, now it's going to be on for young and old. Everything's going to be all fucked up. And Renfield still kicks the shit out of them, and it's like, oh, so they're just a different level of
what's the problem? Like, I'd rather be a familiar these days, which would be like all the benefits of Dracula powers, none of the cons of can't go in sunlight and do that
Just
apart from
kind of like, if you're a familiar, you're out there like trying to convince people to come back to your house so Dracula can eat them. Like, why are you getting into kung fu fights? And like, how are you taking on a group of gangbangers with the same powers as you and you can still defeat them? Like, what kind of everyday life situations are you getting into that has honed your skill to this level?
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't get it.
Yeah. I think this maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. The core concept of it just feels a little bit confused to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get it.
Oh dear. Anyway, so go and watch that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's still playing in cinemas.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's definitely still playing in cinemas.
it's definitely
I
still
don't know
playing
about
in
this
cinemas,
week,
but where you're able to go out there if you want to, or wait till streaming and watch
it's a
it
bit
at
of a
home.
romp.
I think it's more of a fun popcorn one. I'd say
Yeah.
you could probably give it a miss in the cinema, but you can get out there. It's got some big names attached, but it doesn't really have anything else attached. In fact, it has some things detached and removed, and they really went all out on the gore and the comment. Like, there wasn't that one point where he just ripped someone's face off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that was just the joke. When I watched that, I was like, haha, face off. Remember from the movie that Nick Cage was in?
Hang on, was it Dracula who ripped the face off?
No, I think it was Nicholas
No,
Hoult
it was
who just ripped
Renfield.
someone's face off. But I was just like, look, they know what they're doing, but also it's just kind of, I feel like this was a movie that got made because it needed to get made, and they made it, and they did it with as much fun, and I feel like they would have created a fun set to be around. So I feel like that's where we got from this. Did it make a fun movie that was really cool? Maybe, but didn't make a bad movie.
Yeah. It was just okay.
Yeah. I think it was.
They made a messy film. They made a lot of films that they kind of just plugged together. It was a bit like they'd rip somebody apart and then just put things back.
They Frankensteined the Dracula movie.
Yes, and soon it shall be relegated to the tomb of the streaming platform, and then that's how you get your Universal horror thing until they decide, nah, we're not going to show Renfield anymore. Take it off our streaming services. Yes, make you pay more money to get it. Oh, Renfield's gone to the archive.
We never see it again.
The archive is our trash can.
That's Renfield.
Yeah, so June, guys.
June's almost up.
June is a busy fucking month. There's a lot going on in June.
Only
It's gonna be June.
only one more. Sorry, only one more day till June. And then
Dune?
Dune.
June.
Do you Dune? I Dune.
One more
Cara
day till
June? No. Oh, hang on. No.
A June bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Little blue Dune, but yeah.
we've definitely got a schedule for next month.
Yep, totally.
Totally, very much a schedule.
Just like we watched this movie in the cinema.
Actually, we will be seeing a few things in the cinema.
Yeah, we
because
actually do.
Well, we've got some tickets lined up for Sphinx.
We've got Flash. Dun, dun, dun,
I wish it was that Flash.
Ezra Miller's not cancelled yet.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yet. And there's some sort of Spider movie. There's some sort of Flash movie. There's a lot
some
of
sort of
comic booky
transforming
things.
machine movie.
Yes,
Which I'm very excited about.
a transforming machine
I've
movie.
got that dangerous thing where I've found myself actually getting vaguely hopeful.
There's some sort of Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, look, I have to point something out. Like, yes, we're missing Peter tonight, and sorry, Peter couldn't be here, and Peter won't be here for all of the month of June because Peter's got a whole,
She's just, going to the Mediterranean.
she's going to the French Riviera, isn't she?
Oh, she's also going to Greece. Did you not hear?
No,
Jesus Christ.
didn't.
The fucking
She has a
industry.
friend that owns an island in Greece, so she's going to Greece, and then she's going to the west coast
Hail
of
Hydra.
France.
She's packed a bag. She with her Emmy to excuse
Yeah.
me, Emmy
Yeah,
coming through. Sorry,
It's a
excuse
ticket.
me.
Taking Miami and I'm going.
Yeah. And she'll
very
be
jealous.
away traveling in the European summer for work. But also
How terrible.
hilariously, this is a month where we're probably going to be watching movies across the whole month and no big long TV series that she's forced to binge.
But also a lot of movies that she's just not interested in either. So it's a win. It's a win for everyone.
So
Yeah.
all I'm going to say though is for July, if you've got a long TV series, preferably one with 6 or above seasons,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you
Let
want
us
us to
know.
review, let us know now, and then we'll dump it on Pete when she gets
for
back.
July.
Yeah, totally.
It's like we're doing Babylon 5.
When does Barbie come out?
Oh,
July.
In July, peas grow.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Should we do Barbie? I don't think we need to do Barbie in July, do we? No.
Yeah. I like the way that Jill's reaction to that would be like the same as mine. She's like, "Oh, we don't really need to talk about Transformers." And I was like,
Well, in July we have the Marvels and Barbie. So
okay.
Yeah, and a Mission
I thought
Impossible
Marvel's
movie.
got moved, didn't it?
Didn't it? Oh, it
I
did.
thought the
I'm
Marvels
not
is
sure.
November.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I've got that wrong in my calendar. Things move around a lot. I put things in when they get announced, and then like 3 weeks later they change 15 times, and then I'm like, look at my calendar. I'm like, wait, I didn't update that. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite often, Dion will be like, "Oh, isn't that this?" And I was like, "No,
No, that was 3 weeks ago. Yes, on Uzbekistani Netflix. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
And of course, it all kicks off this weekend or this Thursday with Into the Spider-Verse. No, sorry, Across the Spider-Verse. Which,
Isn't that a Beatles song?
yes.
I see what they did there. Spider and the Beatles.
Yes.
Across the Spider-Verse.
And I haven't seen Silo. Silo? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, so
That looks
Into
all right.
Silo.
The trailer looks okay.
yeah,
Better not be
five-
another C.
well, yeah. Also, interestingly, actually written by an Australian author who we had at Supernova at one point. It was originally called Wool, not Silo. Yeah, so I'll just double check on that one.
Sure.
But
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. Though, there you go. Hugh Howey. Sorry, American writer. But I'm pretty sure we had him as a guest at Supernova years ago. And yeah, the original books were called Wool. But now they're Silo.
Now they're called Silo. There you go. No problem.
I'm also going to say it on podcast because I've said it loudly on Twitter and various other places. If you're sleeping on it, fuck's sake, go and check out Muppets Mayhem on Disney Plus. It's fucking great.
You're still banging on about that one, are you?
I know. I haven't
He's
talked.
harping on.
I am blah blah
I
blah.
was-
Muppets.
I-
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Blah 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 blah.
I tried
Oh
to-
yeah.
I tried to watch it and I didn't enjoy it, Quinny.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't like the theme song because it didn't come out like Muppets Mayhem do 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 actually Muppets Mayhem do do. Yeah. No, it's I have to admit that there's some jokes in there that I'm just like like you hate executives.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
there's
yeah.
a whole bunch of like,
Oh, okay.
There's some bitter stuff there about
Yeah.
like producers and executives, but also there is a lot of love for aging rockers.
Yeah.
You know, like the idea that this band has just been around forever, so they know everybody.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm loving the shit out of it. So and amazingly, the album went to #1 on the Billboard charts in the
Oh.
US.
Well, of course, that's the point. That just
Yeah.
goes to show that the corporate structure is a Ponzi scheme.
MLM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. You got to get your Disney involved with your Muppets, and that then gives you the money to bring all the other things in. Yeah, I know how it works.
First you get the Muppets, then you get the Disney, then you get the
Then
power,
you get the money.
then you get the women.
Other than that, I mean, there's TV still happening out in the world.
Sure.
This week, the
Ted
finale.
Lasso finale.
Is it the finale for good?
It's the final
Yes.
final.
Oh,
it's
they
the-
really are doing the finish.
Yeah,
They're not
this is
doing
the
any
last
more than
episode
season 3.
ever.
Well, that's
Last episode
fucking
ever.
that's fucking heartbreaking.
Yes, isn't it?
I mean, I finally
Um,
caught up, and I because I'd been a couple of weeks.
Oh, you did 2
delayed.
episodes at once,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah. I did 2 episodes at once, and then backed it up with some Queer Eye, and I had one of those
Oh,
evenings of like,
Jesus.
I'm fine, I'm okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I the week before, I think it was, I because obviously I'd been away doing things. So I did 2 episodes of Ted, and yeah, that's some emotional fucking rocky roads
Yeah.
when you do 2 at once. Tari's asking, they'll win the sport.
We
The
so.
We hope the
doesn't
sport
matter.
Yeah. In this one, there are no winners or losers. It's about how we all attended the series over the 3 years. Every Wednesday, we attended the series, and that's where all the memories were made.
Yeah. Yes, it was the football is life that we made along the way.
Unless you're playing for your home team. And then I will
Yes.
crush you.
Yeah. And I mean, I would love to do a look back on all of Ted, but who knows? Maybe we'll do that sometime later.
Just a podcast that says all of Ted.
Hello, voice of Ted.
Or is that just weeping into the microphone for an hour, going, it's just,
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. I'm tired of that. So let's move on to some happy things,
Sure.
like some giant transforming robots and shit.
giant transform. Hey, like one question before I go because I'm going to leave. I'm just going to run.
Yeah,
I'm out.
that's
No,
it.
Well, I'm ready
He's
to go.
out.
Yeah. No. One quick question. It's toy related, and it has to do with the Optimus Prime transforming one that transforms up and does the stand and goes, "I am Optimus Prime." And
Yes,
the
yes, the
trailer,
Robo-sound.
all of that. I saw that they released one for Optimus Primal, and it's piss. Like literally, all it does is the gorilla head flops down and it goes into a gorilla pose, and then when you stand up, it just stands up, and then the thing comes back, and it's like, "I'm Optimus Primal." I was like, that is the worst transformation I have ever seen for a toy that is guaranteed to be $800 at the thing. I was just like,
To be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised they went that far because the Roboson ones, they've kind of done a weird thing. Like they've released new versions of the toys that don't transform at all. So there's a version of Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee / Rise of the Beasts movies that doesn't transform at all, but just moves into poses and stuff like that. And I'm like, I feel like you've missed the point, guys. So
Yeah,
the
right.
fact, but also Optimus Primal always had a dumb transformation. Like basically he was a monkey who stood up. Sorry, ape.
So,
Apes, Optimus is together strong.
yep. Wasn't
Right.
there going to be another fucking Planet of the Apes movie?
Yeah, there is. It still will come out.
All right. Okay. Cool.
I still look forward to that because I think the new Planet of the Apes ones that got redone are great.
Yeah, there's some good shit in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Keep an eye out in the next day or so for our schedule. And shall we go
I'll
rate
get onto
something?
that.
Let's see who's
Sure, we'll go
available to
right to that.
raid.
But see, well, go see Renfield. Or actually, I command you, go and see Renfield. Blah. You're not listening to me. Blah. Blah. Renfield. Renfield.
We're gonna go and
Bye,
raid Bro
guys.
XH, who's playing some Destiny 2. I hope he's nice.
Okay. Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys